Hey, what's up everyone? It is Thais here, and today I will be sharing with you some tips on growing your relaxed hair and retaining length. So, I feel like my hair is so long today. My hair is currently armpit length, and all my life growing up I've always had neck length hair. My hair would stop at my neck. Well, I thought that was the longest my hair would grow, and I've always dreamed of having my hair just touch my shoulders. It's so funny now because I thought shoulder length was the longest black girls can grow their hair, but I was wrong. And today I will be sharing with you some tips on what I did to grow my hair past my shoulders. So the first thing I did was develop a consistent regimen, a hair care regimen. So my regimen, I already did a video on it, and I would leave the link down in the description or in a card above this video. So my regimen consists of shampooing my hair weekly with a moisturizing shampoo, deep conditioning weekly, and every week I alternate between a moisture-based deep conditioner and a protein-based deep conditioner. It's so important to have that moisture-protein balance when your hair is relaxed, because when you relax your hair, you lose a lot of protein. That is how we straighten our hair with a relaxer. It breaks down the protein bonds. So it's important to have some sort of protein in your regimen. Another thing I do in my regimen is keep my hair really moisturized throughout the week. So I use a daily moisturizer and I seal it with an oil. And I also, every few weeks I use a sort of clarifying shampoo, a much more stronger shampoo than my moisturizer shampoo. So that is it for my hair regimen. My regimen is really simple. I don't do anything over the top. So the second thing I do to retain length is stay away from heat. So right now I am 1 year in of using 0 flat irons or blow dryers on hot air. I still use my blow dryer, but it's on cool air. So I don't use any direct heat. Some people's hair can handle it. You have to just see if it works for your hair or not. But for me, I already relaxed my hair. My hair is already straight, so I don't crave the flat irons. And I also have other methods I do besides using the flat irons and the blow dryers, which is roller setting and wet wrap if I want that sleek hair. So I don't really miss it. So I stay away from heat as much as possible. That helped me so much. Yeah, so the third thing I do to retain length is apply my products in sections. So I am always sectioning my hair and applying my deep conditioners and also my moisturizer, and I shampoo in sections. So working in sections with your hair allows each strand of your hair to receive product. So if you just apply product to your hair while your hair is just in one, that middle section isn't going to thrive because it's not receiving product. So I really advise you to just section your hair. I always work in 2 sections. That is my staple. And I apply my products to ensure that all of my strands are being nourished and well taken care of. So the fourth thing I do is switch my hairstyles regularly. So that is a big thing that a lot of people make a mistake on their hair journey by keeping their hair in one hairstyle, and that can cause a lot of breakage, because what happens is you're putting a lot of strain on particular hair strands. So I was watching a video and I seen a girl did a bun tutorial, and she always wear buns, that's the only thing she wear. And what happened was the middle of her hair was so long and thick, but then the perimeter of her hair going around the middle was just broken off and half the length of the middle part. And it's because the hair on the perimeter is being strained by the elastic so many times compared to the middle. So I always recommend you to switch your hairstyles and switch between protective styles and low manipulation styles. So you want to You want to wear your hair in a ponytail, but then also give your hair a break from being in a ponytail. So right now, as you can see, the back of my hair has a break from being in a ponytail. It's out. So this is like a combination style. This is a protective style in the front and then a low manipulation style in the back. But I don't wear my hair like this every week because, you know, it will cause breakage on the top if I'm always putting it in the same style. So I really recommend you switch your styles often. Switch your ponytails around. Wear a low ponytail, high ponytail, side ponytail. Let your hair be free 1 week. You know, so that is how I retain length, by switching my hairstyles. So the 5th thing I do is only relax my new growth. So yes, I only relax my new growth. I do not put the relaxer on the hair that has already been relaxed. So that is so important because your hair can thin out if you do that. And I also limit the amount of times I relax my hair. So I relax my hair every 10 weeks because that is what works for my hair personally. You have to find what works for your hair. So I go every 10 weeks because it just helps me to not overlap my relaxers a lot, and it also prevents breakage. So if I go like over 10 weeks, I'm going to be having like too much breakage to retain that length. So you just want to find that perfect time frame for your hair type and your hair texture. So the 6th thing I do to retain length is only use a shower comb or a wide tooth comb most of the time. So with your hair tools can make or break your hair. So if you're constantly using a rat tail comb every day and a hard brush, that is going to be really, really hard on your hair, and you're going to find it hard to retain length. So I only use wide tooth combs, and I only use a soft bore bristle brush. I know I use rat tail combs when I'm doing like roller sats and wet wraps, but I don't do those hairstyles often. Like those hairstyles are only done like once every 3 months or 4 months. Like they're just like special occasion hairstyles, and I know how to manipulate my hair in that state. But for like weekly or in between your washes, you want to make sure you're using a wide tooth comb instead of those rat tail combs. So get rid of them and get rid of those hard dollar store brushes and replace them with soft brushes. It will save your edges so much. So I just spoke of getting a soft brush, and the 7th tip is to not brush your ends, only brush your edges. So I see relaxed girls brush their hair from root to ends, and that is a big no-no. The brush should never run down the length of your hair. It should always be around your edges. The length of your hair is really fragile, and you don't want to break it off by brushing it. So that is another tip I have. So the 8th tip for retaining length is keeping your hair in a straight form when you shampoo your hair. So all of that commercial shampooing where you ball your hair on top of your head, no. Your hair should always be in a straight form. So when you apply the shampoo to your hair, you want to work it down the length of your hair and keep your hair straight. So I highly recommend you shampooing your hair in the shower because it helps keep your hair in its natural form. But if you flip your hair over and shampoo your hair upside down like in the sink, make sure your hair is also in a straight form. Never crunch up the ends, because a bad detangling session can lead to so much breakage. So I always keep my hair in a straight form when I'm shampooing my hair. I never bunch my hair up. So the 9th tip will have to be trim your ends regularly. So I know we don't like trimming our ends because we feel like we're getting rid of length, but you just have to trim it regularly enough so you don't have to trim off a lot eventually. So I was one of those girls who used to go like a whole year without trimming my hair because I had like this idea like, okay, my hair grow like 6 inches in a year. I would just wait 1 whole year to trim my hair, then I'll just trim off 1 inch, and then I'll have the other 5 inches. But no, it never worked out. What happens is when you have a lot of like snaggly ends and split ends, they get caught onto each other, especially when you're combing your hair, and what happens, they just start to break and it snag your other good hair or your good strands and snap them too. So you really want to get rid of those ends regularly. I really recommend every relaxer day, and you don't have to cut a lot. Like, make sure you're not cutting as much as you grow. So we regularly grow like about half an inch of hair a month, so you don't want to trim off like an inch and a half on your relaxer day. If you relax every 3 months, that'll be about an inch and a half of growth. You don't want to trim off all of that. And what happens is, the more regularly you trim, the less you will have to trim every time you trim. So usually when I trim my relaxed hair or my ends, I trim about like half an inch. I think half an inch every 10 weeks, which is great for my hair. So yeah, trim your ends regularly. It is going to help you retain a lot of length. I had to learn the hard way. Like, don't follow me, just trim it regularly. So number 10 will have to be protecting your hair at night. Protect your hair at night with a satin bonnet or satin scarf. That is so important. Like, that helped my hair so much. Like, I remember not sleeping without like a bonnet or scarf, and I always wake up to like matted, tangled, dry hair. And it is so important to protect your hair. That just helps your hair retain a lot of moisture while you sleep, and it prevents your hair from being snagged by your cotton pillowcase. So really protect your hair at night. That helps a lot. So number 11 will have to be squeeze the water out of your hair versus rubbing it. Like, that is so helpful. So when you wash your hair, I notice a lot of girls, they just put the towel on their hair and they just rub it, trying to get the water out, or whatever you're using, even the t-shirt. I don't care if you're using a towel or a t-shirt. You have to just squeeze the water out. So wrap the towel around your hair strands and gently squeeze it. And that should be enough. Never rub it. All of that can cause breakage. I know these tips are really tedious, but I'm getting to like the real true tips on retaining length and preventing breakage. So the last tip will have to be combing your hair from ends to the roots. So anytime you comb your hair with your detangling comb or your wide tooth comb, you always want to make sure you're starting from the ends and working your way up. And always start off with well moisturized hair and work your hair up. Never comb from the roots and just pull the comb through your hair like that. You always want to start from the bottom. So I'm so happy to share these tips with you guys. And I know I really went into detail with these tips because a lot of people just focus on having the perfect regimen, but that's not true. Like, you can have the best regimen. You can be deep conditioning your hair, moisturizing your hair, and taking care of your hair, but it's all in the manipulation as well, which is why I shared a lot of tips on how to manipulate your hair and how to handle your hair. Be very gentle with your hair. Like, treat your hair with respect. Treat it like it's, I would never forget, like, I forgot what blogger used to say this when I was starting my hair journey, but she would be like, treat your hair as if it's a fine piece of silk. Like, be very gentle, be very delicate with your hair, because like I said, you can have the best hair regimen, but if you are not manipulating your hair in the right way, or being very rough with your hair, or brushing your hair out from the roots to the ends, like I mentioned, or rubbing or shampooing your hair like the commercials and all of that, all of those things can cause breakage, and it can actually be counterproductive to your hair regimen. So I hope that these were helpful. I'm so happy to share it with you guys. You guys are always asking me for hair kit tips. So those are all of the things I do to retain length on my relaxed hair, and as a result I end up with longer hair because my hair isn't breaking as much as it used to before my hair journey. So if you have any other questions, leave them down below. And if you're interested in knowing my hair regimen, you can watch the video in the link or in the card above this video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye. Happy hair journey.